And there are millions and millions of people here, but very high on the list of people I was most excited about possibly getting into our studio here.
Kendrick Lamar?
No, not really. I mean, maybe just above him.
I see.
Is the man who is sitting between Allie and me right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of HQ Trivia, Scott Rogowsky, is here on KROQ right now.
Quiz Khalifa. You didn't get Wiz Khalifa, you got Quiz Khalifa.
Quiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
What's your favorite of all of the little nicknames that either others have given you or that you've come up with?
Oh, boy.
Because we love Host Malone. We love that.
Malone.
We love
Host
the Quizmaster General.
Quizzy McGuire.
Edward Quizzerhands. That was a fan sent that one in. I like that.
Do you hear from fans all over the world who write down those things and send them to you?
Yeah, people are tweeting me nicknames now. Some better than others, but I do. I've gotten some good ones. I mean, I actually think Quiz Khalifa might have been a
that's
fan
pretty good.
submission.
It's pretty awesome.
Semitic Sajak is one of mine. I like that one. The Kosher Carson.
So, Scott, like so many other things that are niche, there are places that you can go where you are a superstar celebrity. 100% of the people know and adore you and are completely into what you're doing. Yet you could be in the next room in a completely different crowd and you are invisible. No one has ever heard of you or HQ Trivia, right?
Oh, yeah. It's mostly bouncers at clubs who've never heard of me still.
Because you try.
Yeah. Those are the ones I want to get to because those are the guys that make me wait in line for a half hour. But no, then I was at some Grammy party the other night and it was like, CeeLo was there and then like Fantasia, who I think is a singer.
Yeah,
and then,
she's a singer.
Yes.
She won American Idol.
Yes, that's right. But then
take it easy, B. Take it easy.
Seriously.
But
were they fans or not fans?
I didn't talk to them, but a lot of people were asking for selfies with me, and I didn't see CeeLo getting any selfie requests.
Right?
I mean, granted, he was in this VIP area, so maybe there's a
no one could
red
get to
velvet
him.
rope. Yeah, but people were really jazzed to see me at that party. So yeah, you're right. It does depend on the avenue. And then of course at Pinkberry, I walked into Pinkberry in Las Vegas. Got a 30% discount.
Come on.
The guy behind the counter knew.
Worth it right there.
All right.
Showbiz, am I right?
Yeah.
30% off $1.30, something.
Yeah.
Do you have to explain it from the ground up to old people who can't understand that you host an enormously popular game show that's not on television?
I don't talk to old people.
Okay.
That's how I fix that. Easy fix. No, my grandma's really the only old person I talk to, and she gets it. She was very happy with the way I gesticulate, the way I move my hands on camera. She thought that was
not what I thought.
Yeah, same.
Oh no, that's a new word to you.
Wasn't sure. Yeah.
So Scott, you are a comedian. Also an actor?
I wouldn't call myself an actor by any means. No. I've done some web series work, but I've never taken any acting lessons. I did take, in college, I went to Johns Hopkins, and John Astin from the Addams Family.
Right, sure.
And Night Court, I think, and like Erie, Indiana. He's had a long career. Mm-hmm. He was the teacher. He lives in Baltimore. He's like in his 80s now. But that was the one, I sort of took the class just to have him as my teacher. That was the one acting class I took. Didn't learn too much about acting, but it was cool to hear stories about Ed Asner.
Not a sentence I expected today. Nope. What kinds of jobs did you have before being the host of HQ Trivia?
So many odd jobs. I mean, going back to high school with the babysitting and I worked on an ice delivery truck. I delivered ice for 2 summers. That was a fun one.
When you lived in the 1890s?
No, I mean, look, people say that. I'm not slicing chunks of ice out of a pond and delivering them via horseback. No, this is like every bodega in New York has an ice box. Every supermarket everywhere sells ice. Whenever you buy ice for your July 4th weekend, you buy a bag of ice. I was delivering bags of ice, and this was during the blackout of 2003 in New York. I happened to be delivering ice on the day of the blackout. You guys maybe aren't so familiar with it.
Well, it sounds racist. I know that.
It was one of the biggest crises we've had, and I happened to be coming back from a delivery with dry ice. So we were selling dry ice. The food emporium didn't want it. They're like, take this dry ice back. We don't need it. I had this ice that wasn't accounted for, and I get back to the factory. Everyone's swarming up, lining up to get it. All these guys, their freezers are going, on the fritz. They need the ice.
Price?
Well, they need the ice to keep their business afloat.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
And they sold out of dry ice at the factory. I go, I got some dry ice on the truck right here. This is hot stuff.
You're king of New York.
I was selling this $50 a pound. I was going rogue, pocketing it all myself. I mean, they weren't paying me that much, so I needed that money. That was one of the best days of my life, that blackout. I've worked at a temp agency. I worked for a blogging, for a sports website. I worked at Topps Baseball Cards. That was one of the best jobs I had.
Oh, because you're a massive Mets fan, right?
Big Mets fans, baseball fan. And I collected Topps cards my whole life. And there I was in the office right downtown New York, picking out the photos that go on the card, cropping them, proofreading the writing on the back.
You seem awfully low on the Topps food chain to be making an important decision like that.
I know. I couldn't believe it myself.
You don't give that to an intern.
Yeah, it's the entry-level job there is making the cards. I was
That's
astounded.
entry level. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's the whole thing. They got designers and everything, but the best part is, we just open up cards all day. I mean, we throw them around the office. We're flipping them and everything. And
so you collected every Topps card.
Yeah.
You have the entire set.
Oh, I have. I mean, from like 86 Topps, I have 79, 80. I used to go up, on eBay and buy them now.
Oh, okay.
But growing up, my dad had them from the 50s. He's got, Sandy Koufax.
Now you've got a show with 1.5 million people watching. Any card you need, you just put the request out there.
You're right.
And you can get it.
You're right. Nomar is my guy. If anybody has Nomar Garcia Parra cards, he was my guy growing up.
Are you all right with that?
Well, which team do you want it from?
I mean, I'll take all teams. Red Sox was his big team. Yeah, but I'll take Dodgers Nomar.
The story now is becoming a legend now that your show has blown up so much that you were this close, fingers together if you can't see, on ditching New York and moving to L.A. and just trying something else.
Could be Kevin, the Bean, and Scott.
Right.
Could have been. But no, sorry, Allie.
I know. That's fine.
Not to insult you, but we made the right choice.
And was HQ Trivia just another audition on a schedule one day?
Yeah, it really was. But, you say just another. It's not like I was having, a dozen a week. I've maybe only auditioned for 10 things my whole life. Like I said, I'm not really an actor. I've gone out for a couple commercials. When things were popping for me a little bit, I'd have some agents, try to reach out and get me some work, but nothing ever clicked. The Broad City, I auditioned for Broad City a couple times, didn't get it.
Okay.
I've auditioned for The Daily Show as a correspondent, The Opposition with Jordan Klepper he just had.
You would be great.
Didn't
We
get
just had
that
Roy
job.
Wood Jr. was in here earlier, too.
Yeah, Roy got it.
You'd be fun.
Those shows don't agree with you.
Yeah, that's right. What was the audition like for HQ Trivia?
It was fairly simple. Went to the studio. They had a prompter with some copy, and I guess they told me to prepare some jokes and things. So this was right around the time of the Facebook killer. Do you remember that? When the guy killed the person live on Facebook?
Oh, right.
It was crazy. It was like one of the worst stories ever. So that's breaking the day I come into the audition. And I try to work it in. Yeah, I try to work it in, of course.
Well, because there's a funny side to everything. That's how you looked at it, right?
Didn't quite go over well in the room, so I actually thought that might have cost me the gig, but it turns out.
Where are you when the blonde ladies fill in for you, Scott? I get concerned about you when you're missing.
We're going to need to take a break here
I want
soon.
to let him answer
I know,
the
but
question.
soon. I'm just giving you a heads up.
I have a lot of
you
questions.
You have too many.
Where do you go, Scott?
I'm at a wedding or I'm at another gig. I mean, I have a life too, I can't do every show.
Okay.
So it's when I can't make it that I'm not on.
People think you work 30 minutes a day, 2 15-minute segments a day, but I suspect there's a great deal more to it than that.
Yeah, I wish it was just that. I mean, look, you could just go in there and phone it in. I mean, I am literally phoning it in. It's on your phone. The show is on your phone. But I do put a lot of prep into this. I want to make sure I know the questions inside and out, have some facts about them.
Have you ever had a question that turned out to be wrong?
Seriously, we're going to have to.
You got to take a break. Come on, you got to make some money here.
I'm talking to Quizzy here. Come on. Has a question ever been wrong?
Oh, yeah.
And you find out after the fact that the fact checkers let you down.
Yes, we have had that.
Now you're the face of lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've gotten better because early on the fact checkers may not have been so robust or existent. Mm-hmm. Now we've hired some more people there to keep that from happening.
$1.5 million, $1.6 million sometimes.
Yeah, $1.6 million
playing the
last
game at the
night.
same time.
He's not stopping.
All right, we need to take a break. We'll be right back on the Kevin and Bean.
Trivia's here.
We'll be here, DJ Marshmallow.
We'll be right back. I'm just saying this. Here's the normal format.
Okay.
You ask a question.
Right.
Our guest gets to answer.
Well, I think we're doing that. Aren't we accomplishing
No, because you're asking another question while he's just starting his answer. Slow it down.
I just answered 14 questions in the break.
Slow it
I
down.
have a lot of HQ trivia thoughts, though.
Fantastic. Get his email.
Scott Rogowsky is our guest here on the Kevin and Bean Show. He is a comedian and also the host of the hottest game show in the world. Allie, I know you're hanging on to Jeopardy. I'm telling you, that's so 20th century. Kiss it goodbye. You and your little Canadian friend, Alex Trebek, kiss him goodbye. Scott is the
She's
future.
still watching Art Fleming's Jeopardy.
That's right.
How dare you?
Scott is the future, I'm telling you.
Nice pull.
What,
Go
the
ahead.
Art Fleming reference? How come you lie at the start of every episode where you are, Scott? What's
Because
that about?
It got boring saying I'm from New York every time. When I was, I was doing this for a couple months before we even went live in the, the Apple Store. Mm-hmm. So yeah, every time I kept trying to come up with, the city so nice. They named it twice, or New York, or the Gotham, or Metropolis. There's so many words for New York you come up with, so I just started going Pawtucket.
I'm in Bismarck, North Dakota today.
Yeah, why not? Poplar Bluffs.
It was very confusing to me at first. Why does Scott travel so much? I kept thinking.
And then the people on Twitter are just, Twitter, that's a whole other thing to get into, but people are like, oh, you're in Spokane? Swing by.
We can meet up.
Yeah, meet up. You're in Bakersfield. How are you in Bakersfield today? And Walla Walla tonight. It's like, you know.
When did you know it was a thing? How far into it did you realize, oh my God, this is lightning in a bottle?
To be honest, I'm still not. I still don't have a grasp on how big it is. And every time I get asked to come on a show like this, it hits me more and more because you wouldn't ask me if it wasn't a big deal. But honestly, I'm so inside it that I can't see the phenomenon that's been accruing around it. Like, Pokemon Go, I saw that.
Right.
Because everyone's talking about Pokemon Go and everyone's playing, you see. But this, I am the thing,
Yeah.
So I don't play it. So I don't get it. But
how many countries are you in?
How many countries? I mean, we have a UK version we just launched that's hosted by someone else, Sharon Carpenter. So she's doing a whole UK version just for them.
Oh.
But we're available anywhere. I mean, except I think China blocks it.
Okay.
But definitely Australia, we have fans there. Israel's playing. I mean, a lot of English-speaking places. India, they have their own version, I think, now. Other countries are making their own versions. But it's everywhere. I mean, if you have a phone and you have access to the internet, you could play HQ.
One day
By the way, I should say, if you want to play HQ and you don't know what the hell we're talking about here, download it in the App Store, Google Play, HQ. It's free.
It's free.
Have you explained what this is? We give out money every day?
Not really. We've talked about it before, but not in this interview. We haven't.
Yeah, so we give out money every day. You answer 12 questions. We give out $2,500 every game. Last time we gave out $15,000. That was a special game.
All
for
right,
last
Bean, you
night.
have a question about the money and the way they handle it?
The last a week ago when you did the $15,000 game,
Yeah.
there were only 7 winners.
Right.
And they got over $2,000 for 15 minutes on a game.
That's not your complaint.
No, my complaint has been solved now because we were on the air last week complaining that
The cash out.
the cash out, and you
That's been
guys
solved.
abandoned that.
Yep.
So if I win 90 cents playing that game this afternoon, you'll PayPal me 90 cents.
Sure, it'll cost you 45 cents for the fee,
right?
But
Congratulations.
no, there's no fee. Yeah, you cash out.
Good luck with that, Bean.
No
With
minimum.
that 90 cents.
I mean, the reason that existed was because early on, our games were $50 when we started, right? $50 was the prize, and then it was and we were getting one winner a game basically. We didn't have that many people, so the 20 minimum wasn't really an issue,
Right?
Because people were basically winning over 20 anyway. As we got more and more people, that $20 we started dipping below that, and then people were complaining, "Hey, I've won $11, I can't cash out." So okay, we finally caught up to that, and now
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
One day I tuned in, and to my surprise, former sports guy of the Kevin and Bean Show for 5 years, Jimmy Kimmel, was hosting the show.
Yeah.
Have you had any other celebrities, any other people like that that have stepped in for you, Scott?
We had Ryan Seacrest do some recorded questions on New Year's Eve day.
Are you worried you might be replaced by somebody more popular?
I'm not.
Not till just
Because I
now.
have a
Can't stop thinking about it now.
I mean, they signed me, so if they want to replace me, they still got to pay me. But I'm
No,
going
if
to be here.
he's not hosting and it's a guest host, people lose their minds.
They
Like,
do.
Where's Scott?
Where's
Where's
Scott?
Scott at? The game's
Yeah.
not even the same when he's not there.
I'll tell you what, we might have a special guest on tonight's game.
Oh.
Just gonna
Really?
tease that.
Guest host?
Yep. Maybe a co-host.
Co-host.
Maybe a
Oh,
interesting.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Before we run out of time, yes, HQ Trivia is the app. It is free. You can download it. You play it twice a day. West Coast time, it's at noon and at 6. You have to answer 12 questions correctly. And if you miss one, you are out of the game.
Unless you have an extra life, which
Unless
you
you
can
have
get
an
by
extra
referring your friends.
Or you stick to the end and then you win a cash prize. Scott, I know people ask you this all the time, just like they ask everyone who hosts a game show. How would you be as a contestant?
Yeah, not great. I've played it a few times. I'll be honest, I got out on question 1 once.
Yes.
Which is usually a
I
throwaway,
swear,
right?
I'm like, look at this about what game is played with tiles, and I'm looking at these things, and I the answer was dominoes, and I clicked something else. I was like, I just wasn't, my brain just wasn't there.
Yeah,
You have to sort of focus. The
Welcome
thing is-
to my life.
Yeah, what the game does, and what's so interesting about it is you're playing on your phone, right? Now, what do people use their phones for? Distractions most of the time, right? We're all checked out. We're walking around, our heads in our phones with these eye zombies. But now the phone is the center of attention. But still, when you're looking at your phone, you're so used to zoning out on your phone anyway. You have to focus on your phone, which is hard to do sometimes.
It's easy to lapse for a few seconds and you're out of the game.
Exactly. So you really have to pay attention, and it's 10 seconds from when you're reading the question, so it goes very fast. So really, just it's so hard to stay focused now for even 15 minutes. That's what this game is really testing.
You invite your fans, your players, to submit questions to the game.
Yeah.
And then they check them out, and if
We verify
they make
them,
the muster,
right? Fact check.
you put them on.
We've definitely used fan submissions. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have written some questions, Scott, and
boy.
I would like us to play a brief round of HQ Trivia right now, if you wouldn't
okay.
mind. All
Jeff,
right.
do you have a 10-second timer?
hit the 10-second timer from the time I start the question. Here we go. And of course, for folks who haven't played the game, question 1 is always a gimme. Although, shockingly, thousands of people sometimes get out on the easiest questions.
The cow goes bark, bark, bark.
All right. Question 1. The host of the popular app-based trivia game HQ Trivia is the handsome and delightful Scott Baio, Scott Stapp, or Scott Rogowsky.
Yes. Sorry.
Bakula.
Out of time.
I thought it was Scott Bakula. It's me, I think.
It is Scott Rogowsky. That is correct.
Does the timer start with the beginning of the question?
Doesn't it, though?
It does with HQ.
It does.
But
Maybe
that
I
wasn't
need to
10 seconds.
Maybe I need to read it fast.
That was 10 seconds. Bean was just stalling.
Maybe I should have read it. All right.
Yeah. The handsome you could have left out.
You're still in. Question 2. Cartoonist Mort Walker drew what popularly syndicated comic strip for more than 65 years before his recent death? Hagar the Horrible, Beetle Bailey.
You can't even get through the question.
Or Dick Tracy.
Mort was Beetle Bailey.
That is correct. Yeah. Yes. Maybe we don't do the timer.
Yeah, I'll wait till you're done.
Well, it's not working well.
Question 3, Scott. What U.S. state has the most miles of coastline? Alaska, Florida, or California?
This is going to be a tricky one, right? I'm going to say Alaska.
That is correct, Alaska. Yeah. You move on to Q4.
You can't forget the Aleutian Islands.
Right? That's what I've always said.
That's what Kevin said yesterday. So.
All right, so he's in. Now you're starting to feel optimistic. You're starting to feel good.
Yeah.
I'm doing 12 questions?
I own this. Well, you'll be out before this. Question 4. Later this year, Illinois' Tammy Duckworth will become the first U.S. senator to do what while in office? Go into space, enter into a same-sex marriage, or give birth?
Birth?
Same-sex marriage.
Give birth is correct. She is 6 months pregnant and will be giving birth. Look at you.
And that's why I don't play.
All right. Question number
Might have had some help on that one.
Question number 5, Scott. Oh, you're a baseball man.
I am.
This major league pitcher threw one of the most memorable no-hitters in baseball history on June 12th, 1970, while high on LSD.
Doc Ellis. You don't
It
even
is
have
Doc
to give
Ellis.
me an
Yes,
answer.
you are
that.
correct. Question 6.
How much does he win if he gets to the end?
I'll give him whatever's in my pocket.
All right.
Question 6.
So a condom.
Lint. Yeah.
Which of these is not a real documentary about competitive arcade game players? Ecstasy of Order, Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde, or King of Snake? Which is not a documentary about competitive arcade game players?
Snake.
No, I'm sorry.
Pinky
is. It is about Nibbler. Ecstasy of Order is about Tetris. There is no Pac-Man ghost documentary called Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. You have been eliminated, sir.
There's King of Kong. I thought
King
you
of
were
Kong, right?
playing
That's the only
King
one I
of
knew, too.
Kong.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to decoy me on that one.
That's like you do to me
Inky,
every
Blinky,
night on the
and Clyde.
show, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, Bean?
Yes.
Gonna have to wrap it up.
But Scott's my new best friend.
Gonna have to wrap it up. Get his phone number, text him, email.
Scott, we can be friends, right?
Absolutely. If you host me in New Orleans.
Scott,
absolutely.
Do not give him any information. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
How about a shout out to Kevin Bean on this afternoon's show?
Yeah.
A little love for the KROQ morning show.
I'll just do Kevin Bean, and we'll pretend it's some guy named Kevin.
Kevin and Bean, please.
Just do Bean.
Okay.
You can just do Bean.
Kevin, you're trying to back out of this whole thing, aren't you?
No, I'm fine with it. I'm just, I'm looking at the clock
Mr.
and you're
Bean.
not, and you're too excited.
There actually might be a question about Mr. Bean on today's quiz.
Oh, there you
Look
go.
for that.
Congratulations on all your success. It's an awesome show you guys are doing, and I wish you nothing but the best in the future.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks, Bean. Thanks, Kev.